Okay, while I get the plane set up here, I want to just kind of introduce what I'm doing. This is an F-16 flight against a Su-57 Felon mod, the Russian Pac-FA. And the way I have this set up, I'm leaving labels on just because this is the first time I've done it. And my objective here is to see if anything ever comes up on the radar in the F-16, and then attempt to evade the Su-57's missile shots at me long enough to get in um, IR missile range, because I don't think I'll ever see him on my radar. I started off about 120 miles apart, just flying directly at each other at 20,000 feet, same speed to start with, and we're just going to see what happens. You're only going to see the cockpit view because DCS keeps corrupting the external views, and I can watch the replay in the cockpit, and it plays perfectly just like it was when I flew it. If I switch to external views, it's good up to a point, and then everything goes awry. But we've accelerated the time here, and we're getting closer, so the action's about to kick off. And then I'll talk about what I do and why in the TAC view. Okay, so yeah, 126 miles apart, and we're going to zoom in and speed it up a little bit while we talk here. So I'm trying to do a few things. One, I'm trying to get better at detecting things in game, better at situational awareness, specifically in the F-16. Secondly, I'm trying to get better at evading missiles in the F-16, so I'm trying out different things. I'm eventually going to work up to flying against the F-14, which may be a little easier in some cases, maybe a little harder in others. And of course, the AI the doesn't always make correct decisions, but But I was also the next thing that I'm trying to do is just test the BVR capabilities of the F-16, test the radar against stealth supposedly, and I don't think that this stealth is very accurately modeled, but I don't know. I don't suspect that in real life, an older radar would actually detect a stealth aircraft. I mean, that's the design anyway. I don't really know how it would behave in real life, and I don't know uh, how closely this is modeled, is what I'm saying. So I imagine there's some radar cross-section data in the sim that can be tinkered with a little bit, and maybe these modders just drop that down to a really low number or something. I don't know how it works. I don't know the format or the expected behavior or anything like that. So anyway, I was just wanting to see if it would pop up on the radar. That's what all of that rambling was about. So I think that covers all of my reasons for doing this. I'm also going to do this again later with the labels off, but since this was stealth, I kind of wanted to leave the labels on this time and just kind of see how things behaved. Also, I was planning to drop my tanks right about the time he fired the first missile, and I just didn't get it done. So right here, I sort of, I wasn't really cranking, but I'd kind of angled off to the side. I didn't want to crank too hard, but I did want to be moving sideways just a little bit so that the missile would have to pull a little bit of lead. It worked on this guy. Of course, with the labels on, I can see it. With labels off, I don't know when it's getting close. So I think only experience can kind of get you dialed in on when you need to maneuver harder and things like that. But because I had a nice angle to start with, this guy's pulling pretty good lead, and I need to pause it for a second. Okay, I can hover over that, I guess. So he's still going, it's still going pretty fast, but I roll back around and it's going to try to adjust, and it really can't pull that many G's, and when it does, it's trying to it's burning off a lot of energy. And what you'll notice is I kind of pull around. I'm climbing, and I don't know that this is best. I think some people will descend where and drag it down where the air is a little bit thicker, and that might be better. But I'm going up, and then as I pull through, it's still trying to lead me, so it's still going up. But as I pull around, I wind up pushing down a little bit, and so I can kind of gain some energy back a little bit, but it's pointed the wrong direction now. So here I need to pause it again, and actually let me go back, because as I'm trying to defeat this missile, he is maneuvering to get back in position. So whoops, there we go. I double hit the space bar. So I'm maneuvering here. I do want to roll back around and kind of close the distance here. He does have radar missiles. I gave him radar missiles. I believe, yeah. That was what do they call those, adders? I can't remember. Anyway, I think this is what I call R-73, I believe, although I'm not up on my Russian weapons. So anyway, I'm popping chaff and flare as I turn to try to fool it just in case, which is a good idea probably. He's already pointed back around on me, so you'll see here comes the second missile. Actually, no. I may have set him up with longer range IR missiles, because that's the R-73. Anyway, I fired, like I said, I'm not up on the Russian weapons, especially in TAC view. I don't necessarily see what or know what they are, but I fired this missile at over basically 4.5 miles. That's not really a great missile shot, but um, I actually put 4 AIM-9Xs on and 2 AIM-120Cs. So I've got more of an abundance of those, and I didn't really expect that missile to be that close. I fired it just to make him go defensive, which worked, as you can see. Um, so he had to turn up. My missile bit the flares pretty hard there, which I think that these have a pretty good what do they call that? I can't remember the term for it, but rejection rate. Pretty good rejection rate on flares. But anyway, this is a pretty hard maneuver, and he's got a bunch of flares in a row, so I guess that's believable for me. Let's go back to me and let's look at, we're going to stay on him, but we're going to look at this missile. This missile didn't really track very much. This is the missile that keeps getting me in the replays though. And that's usually the case. Like I can dodge one missile and the replay will remember, but then the second one, my plane just flies straight into it. So I've made him go defensive, and now here I'm in a really good position. So we are just over 2 miles away. He's kind of he's beaming me, which means my missile's going to have to lead quite a bit, but I'm close enough that I'm not going to lose a ton of energy whenever, or the missile's not necessarily going to lose a ton of energy. So it comes off the rail, and he is trying to maneuver, but he just doesn't have the energy left to do it, and so so it gets him. Okay, so as we've watched my guy sort of follow what we can't see anymore here in TAC view, I think the lesson here is that it's definitely possible. It's harder when you can't tell exactly where they are, but you know, I use my RWR to locate the threat, and then you know you can fly towards it, you can beam it, you can go off at an angle, whatever. It's hard to tell how close it is unless you're using the map or unless you're using labels. So in this case, I was using labels. Next time, I am going to turn the labels off, and I bet I get killed. In fact, I might get killed a bunch. We will see. And let's see which piece that AIM-9 goes and hits. It's definitely going to be a lot harder without the labels turned on. So we'll see how we do there. But it's doable, because really it's a matter of keeping energy up and just thinking ahead, I think, and making sure that you've got maneuvering energy and space to defeat the missiles, and then trying to work your way back onto the target in an acceptable range where you can get a high probability kill shot. So that's kind of the goal here, is just to test that out and try to get better at it in the F-16. And I think that this was a good first experiment. So we'll just try to improve a little bit more as we go, and make the test a little bit more strenuous. So as always, thanks for watching and happy flying.